In the almost magical agricultural village of Avoto, many years ago lived Nnamdi and his younger brother Ufele. They loved each other and did things together almost always. They built their houses next to each other. Soon Ufele took to more drinking than usual. His friends told him that taking more booze makes him show his manliness better. Initially, everything seemed okay and he was feeling more energetic and more productive. His farm produce was getting more robust as he worked harder on his farm. He had many friends with whom he spent his evenings while his kids were left to themselves and their mother. Once in a while, he would bark out an instruction or two to both his wife and children. Nnamdi, on the other hand, took more calculated steps in relating with people. He was quite choosy about who he allowed to stick close. He spent more time with his children. Consequently, he knew to train them in discipline and efficiency in carrying through whatever was demanded of them at home and outside. Nnamdi's children were doing very well at school. They also participated at the farms, and soon he apportioned each of his 4 boys farmlands to take care of. Ufele's children were passing their exams in the Avoto community school, but his first son, Afam, had heard about Oyibo land and wanted to go there in a hurry. He often said that London was where you go if you really want money without all the hard work that was demanded of him in the Avoto farms. What a fallacy. Nnamdi's first son, Ifeanyi, was doing very well in his farm and very well at school. He got scholarship to go to secondary school. For excellence at school, he got yet another scholarship to study at Oxford University. Ufele's first son, Afam, was red with envy. He began to plot what to do to prevent Ifeanyi from going to Oyibo land to study. Afam couldn't contain his restlessness and shared his envy and bitterness with his friends, saying, "What shall we do to stop this brat of a young man from going to his Oxford? I have always been the one to talk about going to Oyibo land. How could we all be here and he just gets up to go to the Oxford?" One loud mouth among them said, "Guys, this is not a big deal. Just steal his passport and tear it up in pieces. It is simple." Others agreed with him. One asked, "But who would steal the passport and when would it be stolen?" "We have just 3 days before the Mugu travels to Lagos to enter aeroplane to Oyibo land." Ifeanyi went to ease himself in the pit toilet away from his father's house. In Avoto, in those days, a large clan settlement had just 2 toilets, one for women and children and the other for men. Afam occasionally goes to his cousin's room, so it wasn't strange for him to be found there. However, this time around, he was on an evil mission. He searched everywhere but didn't see the passport. Ifeanyi came back and found Afam in his now scattered room. Ifeanyi asked, "Afam Ogini, what are you looking for among my things?" Afam said, "I now want to read that novel you gave me to read, but I refused. I was busy then, but I'm free now. It's the novel that I'm searching for. I also wanted to surprise you, that is, to finish reading it and then tell you about it before you travel." Ifeanyi said, "Sorry, I gave it to Nedu, our classmate. It's not here anymore." "But Annie, is it true that you have gotten your visa to travel in 2 or 3 days? You remember I've been talking about this going to Obodo Oyibo for years now." One day I'll cross over. Can you show me the visa? I want to just touch it, feel it, connect with it, and know that mine will soon come. As Ifeanyi made a move to get the visaed passport, his father called him. Anyina, remember, you must go to your grandmom's place this evening to tell them of your trip. It is good she prays blessings on you before you go. Yes, Papa, said Ifeanyi. I will soon go to see her. He went back to his room where Afam was restlessly waiting for him. He said, Afam, did you say you want to see my passport? Come and escort me to Grandma's place. I will show you when we come back. Inugo? Afam agreed to escort him, though deeply annoyed. On their way, Odo, one of Afam's friends that was part of the plan to destroy the passport, surfaced. He accused Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi, I heard you are going to Obodo and you don't even want me to know, right? You are now full of pride, full of yourself. You don't know your seniors again? Ifeanyi replied, Nna, why are you talking like this? Before he could explain himself more, Odo pushed him aside and went in the opposite direction. Ifeanyi was uncomfortable with Odo's harsh words and spoke up to Afam about it. Afam took sides with Odo and said, But Nna, why wouldn't you tell him? Are you expecting Odo, who is our senior, to come and kneel to you to get the info? It is not right now. You should have told Odo since. This cousin Afam's response sparked some fear in Ifeanyi. He immediately created a plan in his brain, an alternative way. They got to Grandma's place, and the moment she heard it, the 90-year-old strong woman stood up and broke into a dance. Then she hugged Ifeanyi and began to pray, hugging him even tighter. You have been a pride of our clan, of our family. What we and our fathers and forefathers didn't see nor attain, you have broken through to see. As you go, remember that you are a trailblazer and that others are looking up to you and following you. You are the light of Avotu village. You will go to Obodo and bring back glory to Avotu. You will not disappoint destiny. Where others failed, you will succeed big. Our God will guide you and make his face shine upon you in Jesus' name. Ifeanyi chorused, Amen. Teary. She stepped into her tiny room and unwrapped the knot on her wrapper and brought some 2,000 naira and said, Mwam, take this token. Buy bread or whatever it could buy for you. At this, Ifeanyi let the tears flow. Mama was now crying and consoling Ifeanyi. Hugged and bade him farewell. She said, Anyi, I'll be waiting to see you when you come back. Ifeanyi and Afam left immediately. Afam was still restless and said, Now Anyi, you have to show me the passport as promised. Since Ifeanyi was forced to own a passport to travel to Obodo from Avotu, it is clear that Afam doesn't know what a passport looks like. They got into Ifeanyi's room and he pulled out his box, opened it and pulled out a file. He got out 2 white sheets and said, Afam, this is the passport. Afam grabbed the photocopies of Ifeanyi's data page and visa page and ran off. Ifeanyi pretended to be panicked while shouting out Afam's name. Afam ran to Odo's place, where they set the pages on fire. Afam would sleep there for 3 whole days. On the set day for his trip from Avotu to Onitsha to Lagos, Ifeanyi woke up early and was escorted to the Gongoro mini park by his parents and siblings and a few cousins. He boarded the Gwongworo and said goodbye to teary relations. Afam came back expecting his father and or Ifanyi's father to shout at him. No one said anything to him except that his mom called him into her room to query him. "Nna, where were you when others escorted Ifanyi to the Gwongworo Park?" This was like a bombshell to Afam, so he angrily exploded. "I was in my friend's house. Has Ifanyi gone?" Talking to himself, he said, How did he?" And he ran off to Odo. Their frustration got heightened when an errand man came to Avutu after a few days to say that Ifanyi had landed in Oxford. Afam couldn't eat for some days. He decided he needed to do something about his future. He had zero zeal to continue going to school. He convinced his father that he would learn to trade. One man from Avutu is a successful trader in Onitsha. He became an apprentice in Ozemena's shop. His apprenticeship was to last 7 years, but within 3 years, Afam knew his way around. He began to put on airs of flamboyance. His master Ozemena queried him, "Afam, I see you buying new clothes and dressing beyond your level. How come? Where are you getting all the money from?" Afam said, "Oga, my friends gave me." Ozemena warned, "These your fellow apprentice friends who have so much as to give you these things? I wonder, be careful, because the day they get caught for stealing, they would rope you in too. Avotu people are not known for stealing. Be careful, I'm warning you now." Unknown to Ozemena, Afam had perfected ways of stealing from the shop without his Oga's knowledge, at least not immediately. An auditor comes twice a year to audit the business. It was getting to time for him to come, and Afam had stolen enough for the auditor to notice through the records. Afam met a man that promised to take him to Malaysia if he would pay him 10,000 naira. It meant much then, but Afam had it and paid the man. Within 2 months, Afam landed in Malaysia, 5 days before the auditor arrived to audit Ozemena's business. As expected, Afam didn't mention his escape to his Oga Ozemena. He was miserable in Malaysia, homeless as soon as he ran out of money. Dishwashing wasn't even easy to come by. Many eateries had dishwashers. Soon he ran into a Nigerian girl, Neda. Neda liked him and took him into her house. To make his stay with Neda permanent, he proposed marriage to Neda, who was working and feeding him. After their small wedding, Neda got him a job in an auto sales place as a cleaner. With some money in his pockets, the meekness in him turned to meanness to Neda. He hit Neda twice. She got a lawyer to divorce him and throw him out of her house. One evening after the day's work, Malaysian police landed at Neda's door. They came to arrest Afam. Neda found out from them that he was found in the bedroom of a Malaysian man with the man's wife. Neda asked the police to hold on. She went in to ask Afam, "Afam, I hear you went to rape someone's wife. Is it true?" Afam shouted, "Shut up there! Me rape who? For what? Because don't rope me into your frustrations, oh, ha!" At that, Neda announced, "4 policemen are in the sitting room waiting for you. Let me tell them you are ready to go with them." Afam was shocked, and before he could utter more words or escape, Neda put her head out to the sitting room and said, "You could come in to take him. He is ready." They immediately handcuffed him and took him. Within 2 weeks, Afam was deported empty-handed. He couldn't go back to his Oga, Mr. Ozemena, so he found his way to Avutu. looking a bit depressed and off his mind. He had tasted life. Avotu was no longer comfortable. It was most frustrating. The next he did was to start drinking heavy. The more he drank, the more frustrated he became. The more frustrated he became, the more he drank. One late night, he came home drunk, and his now equally frustrated father asked him why he came in that late. He grabbed the wooden chair there and hit Ufele, his father, on the head. Ufele slumped and passed on immediately. By morning, his eyes cleared, and he saw his father slumped at a corner with a little bleeding. Nnamdi went to Igwe Avotu and reported. Igwe invited police from town. Again, Afam was handcuffed and taken to police station. After all the court sessions, finally the judge gave him a life imprisonment. What have you learned from this story? What do you really think about the story? What advice do you have for the likes of Mr. Ufele, Afam and his friends, and Ifeanyi? Do you have some advice for kind-hearted Neda? What is the moral of the story? Importantly, this story shows basically that we should lay a good foundation of discipline and hard work with integrity for our children. It must pay off tomorrow. Please leave your comments below. Remember to click the like button if you enjoyed the story. Also, click both the subscribe button and the bell to ensure you get to know when we upload another very interesting story. See you then. Goodbye.